Hello everyone and welcome to episode 18. I'm Gabe, and today we'll be taking on the fighting type gym. But let's do a quick recap real fast. In the last episode, you traveled along the overgrown Route 9 and found an abandoned laboratory. You discovered clues about Professor Ginkgo and the leader of Team Arc working together in the past and uncovering two dormant legendary Pokémon. You arrive in Ordo Outpost again, and you know that Beth, the fighting-type head researcher, is waiting for you somewhere inside the massive, centrally located building. Let's take a look at what the puzzle will be for our fighting-type gym. When you step inside, you are not greeted by any researchers, and instead, you're left to figure out the puzzle without any prompts. You quickly see that the building is separated into a series of hexagonal rooms. And in order to pass to the other side of the building, where you assume Beth is, you'll need to make it through the various rooms. Each room is painted with a fun mural that reflects one of the 18 Pokemon types. Along with that, there are 6 doors, and in front of each door there is a training dummy with a sign showing another Pokemon type or two. You can strike a dummy, and if you hit the correct one, its door will open, allowing you to proceed to the next room. But if you are incorrect, a trapdoor opens beneath you, and you are whisked back to the start of the gym. It's up to you to conclude that the Pokemon type that is represented by the mural in each room is super effective against one of the training dummies' types, and that you need to strike that one in order to proceed. And things get a little bit more complicated the further you go, as some of the training dummies start having dual types for you to figure out. And of course, you'll run into the occasional wild fighting type Pokemon or researcher that you must battle, but eventually you do make it all the way to the final room where Beth is stretching and readying herself for battle.
Took your sweet time, didn't you? I just wanted to thank you again for all your help clearing out that Team Art camp at Crater Cliff. That Psycat is trouble, let me tell ya. Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. She actually used to be Professor Ginkgo's research partner. What? You already knew that? Huh. You uncovered some of the research at an abandoned lab? Wow. You're a smart one. Well, they came to this island when it was completely devoid of life. They made some type of discovery together that let them not only return vegetation and life to the whole island, but also revive all of the extinct Pokemon. The professor really doesn't like to talk about what happened between them, but Psycat must have tried something pretty despicable to get disbanded from the research program. Enough of the gossip. You came here for a battle, didn't you? Let's see if you can handle my fighting type Pokemon.
Beth is a serious combatant and leads with her Takashuru. It is speedy, but you know its tricks by this point. And next, she is forced to bring out her Fractip. After knocking out this rock type, she sends out a new Pokemon. It's time for our Headbutting Giraffe to evolve. I knew that I wanted a Megaloceros or Irish elk design, and I kind of stumbled into a connection between Bumpif and this. We're going to have the 2 large fists that Bumpif sported on its head. We're going to have those open up into a gargantuan hand-shaped rack. I also wanted this design to look as though it could be the common ancestor to the Deerling and Stantler lines. So I pulled in some slight inspiration from them as well, and on the whole, it kind of needed to be fairly simple to allow it to lead to both of those lines. Oh, I didn't mention this when we made Bumpif, but I was really on the fence about typing since they could pretty easily be normal and fighting type, but in the end I landed on them both being just fighting type, since we could really use more monotypes in the Palean region. Anyway, this is Eloceric, the head-hand Pokemon. The heavy antlers on Eloceric's head are swung in a wide arc to keep predators at bay. Though rigid, they can be quite dexterous with their head adornment, and have been seen picking up and throwing annoying Pokemon. Eloceric are protectors of forests and fields, and stomp any injustice they see. Its ability is Mold Breaker, and that lets it use a move regardless of the opposing Pokemon's ability. This regal Pokemon is well-rounded and strong, but you take it down. Next up, Beth sends out another new Pokemon. Something based on Therizinosaurus or Dinocyrus has been requested since the start of the series, and I'm happy that we've finally gotten here. I'm really partial to the artistic renders of these animals that have them particularly poofy, especially with their, big shaggy tails, and I wanted to bring that in. I also messed with the posture a bit, both to mix things up and also to introduce a few more slightly humanoid silhouettes to the decks. On the whole, I'm not a huge fan of people-looking designs, but I think this overall shape treads that line successfully. And it's always nice when we can get a few more kind of feminine silhouettes in there too. Now, obviously, since Beth is using this Pokemon, it's a fighting type, but I am pulling in the secondary type from the claws, Steel type. I felt like it just had to be. The claws are just so gigantic. We're also justifying the fighting type by having the Pokemon use its claws kind of like swords. Think of it like a knight-errant or a wandering samurai, keeping the claws tucked away, almost like a sheathed sword, and attacking only when necessary. Oh, and the shiny is just awesome. No real inspiration, just cool colors. And here is Ferrous Lies, the Blade Pokemon. This Pokemon wields its long metal claws with deadly precision. Ferrous Lies have an innate sense of justice and wander the land seeking to right wrongs. They never lose their cool in battle, as they have complete confidence in their composed fighting style. Ferrous Lies' claws have been observed cleaving through all natural material in the Palean region, and its ability is, of course, Tough Claws, and that increases the power of moves that make contact. It tears through much of your team before you are finally able to knock it out. Beth follows with her ace, fighting Eeveelution time. I was surprised how much trouble I had with this. Honestly, this has been the most difficult Eeveelution to design so far. I've seen some awesome Fakemon designs out there, but they always feel slightly over-designed to me. The karate gis and headbands just feel a little too much. Like they would stand out against all the other Eeveelutions. And I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but Eeveelutions need to be clean and simple designs. I mean, all Pokemon designs should be clean and simple, but especially Eeveelutions. But finding a way to evoke the fighting type without adding a bunch of extraneous details was difficult. I mean, what does the fighting type even mean? In the end, I think the pose is doing most of the heavy lifting here. It being crouched down and ready for battle at any time sells the fighting type more than the actual design. Other than that, I threw in some banding that feels like fighter's wraps, along with some markings that could be read as scars. The ears gave me the most trouble, as I wanted something that vaguely resembled headband tassels without just being tassels. Colors were simple enough, though I had more fun with the shiny. Personality-wise, it feels like this Eeveelution is on the edge of being a dark type, so the shiny colors are a pretty awesome dark type color palette to reflect that. Alright, here is Sparion, the scrappy Pokemon. This feisty Eeveelution is always looking for a fight. Sparion are determined to become the best that they can be. They are often a little too headstrong and challenge opponents that they are not ready for. Even when they lose, Sparion study their opponents' moves and learn from their mistakes. Trainers must spend extra care to keep this Pokemon from picking unwarranted fights. Not gonna lie, this is probably my least favorite Eeveelution so far, but then again, fighting types tend to be my least favorite designs overall. Be sure to let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. Anywho, Beth pushes you to the limit, but you somehow knock out her Sparion and emerge victorious. In fact, it was such an intense battle that some of your Pokemon are ready to evolve. But we'll pick up with all of those evolutions in the next episode. Thank you all so much for watching, and please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts on today's episode down in the comments below. Of course, a huge thank you to Beth again, and I'll see you in episode 19. Bye!